And we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wheel Talk, the podcast with a guy in a wheelchair and a girl in a wheelchair. What up, Brittany?
What's up, Fred? I'm good. Yeah, it's always a hectic morning for me before the podcast, but I'm always good. I'm a morning person. Rarely not in a good mood in the morning. So
good.
it's good for me.
You should try getting up at 5 a.m.
I actually do get up at 5:30 just because it takes me enough time to. I liked getting ready before my kids get out of bed because they're teenagers and will sleep through their alarm. So I want to make sure that I'm like up. And generally because they know I'm up, they never ever set their alarm because they're just like, my mom will wake me up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Right. Well, today's episode we have called What No One Tells You About Starting Work Again. Now, this week I've started my new job at Sherpa Supermarket. It's very cool. It's like a little supermarket in the middle of Morzine, which is a little sleepy town in the French Alps, but it's just about to start getting buzzing with like skiers and stuff like that as the winter season kicks up. Anyway, it's a beautiful little supermarket. There's lots of locals that come in, for a little baguette and, newspaper. And it's a very lovely job. I'm very, very grateful for it. And today we wanted to discuss the contrast of yesterday after I finished work. I was sort of buzzing with a little bit of adrenaline. I was very tired, but also it was like, oh, I'm so grateful for my job. Versus today where I was just utterly wiped out. And I just wanted to talk about, is it just that I'm quite weak, or is it to do with my disability, or is it to do with all sorts of things, different routines, starting early in the morning, all sorts of things like that, returning to work with a disability. We're here to discuss it. So
Fred was telling me about this morning, and it reminded me of a psychologist that I have been totally in love with. Like, she's like amazing. And she talks a lot about capacity building. So I wanted to talk about that in the context of having a disability. And is there like a fixed sort of capacity, energy that we have to work within in order to manage our mental health, our physical health, all of that stuff? And when we start something new that we're not used to, can we build capacity, or is, say, getting up at 5:30 in the morning for a very long time, with no end in sight, really bad for you with a disability? All these different things. So I want to show you a video that you can react to, Fred. And then we can jump into talking about how you think this new job and the experience relates to your ability to build capacity. So let me cue up this video.
Let's do it. Let's start with that.
You can react.
That capacity is about time, how many hours you have in a day, or energy, or how much your body can handle before it gives out. You see it as something finite, something that runs out. And for some of you, you think capacity is about how much stress you can take before you break. But capacity isn't about time, energy, or stress. It's not about how much you can endure. Capacity is about how you grow, adapt, and expand, not just to meet life's demands, but to pursue what you desire for your own life. It's about having the resilience to handle challenges and to go after what truly matters to you. It's not about squeezing more into your day, surviving on fumes, or seeing how much pressure you can take. If you keep tying capacity to time, energy, or even stress, you'll always feel like you're running out. But when you start to see capacity as something that you can build and something you have, everything changes. Capacity isn't about how much you can take. It's about how much you can grow to handle the chaos and create the life that you want. The more you grow, the more you will realize that capacity isn't about limits. It's about expansion.
Okay, so that's the video. I love her so much. I think she just has like so many great ideas. But what do you think about that idea of capacity? Because I know that capacity is like how much something can hold, and can you fit enough in it? And if you fit too much, it's going to like burst. It's too much pressure. That's where overwhelm comes from and all that. But is it really more about expansion? Like, the universe expands. Our ability to love can expand. Like, there's so many things that don't have limits. And do you think capacity is the same? And do you think that starting new things that help you grow actually helps you build capacity? Or do you think that it stresses us out and wears our body down? What do you think?
Well, you've bombarded me with a lot of information there, so there's a lot of questions to
so much,
answer.
But I'm so
and a
curious
lot to
about
react
this.
to.
Yeah, in your specific situation, like in right now, is it feeling like you have a fixed capacity? Like in your new job, do you feel like you have that ability to expand, get used to the demands of the job, get used to getting up early? Or do you think that that's like something that you're going to reach a limit of and you're going to be like, F this, I can't do this anymore?
Oh, that's yeah. I mean, it's a good question. It's very thought provoking. I think I definitely have the capacity to grow, but I just like I don't know how much I can expand to. I don't know
Yeah.
what I'm capable of. But the things that I've been struggling with was first of all the early mornings because I've been unemployed for like 8 months. So I've been going to bed around midnight, and to be honest, bed around midnight feels disciplined when you don't have a job. You know what I mean? So you're like, oh, I go to bed before midnight. That's yeah. So yeah, and then to go to bed at like 9:30 feels like forced, and then to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to start my shift, it's a change, and it sounds really lame to say, oh, it's just a change, and certainly my body is adjusting to it, but I think the level of exhaustion I felt today was such a crash and burn from yesterday. I wondered if it had something to do with my disability, and there's so many things I want to talk about today about how my disability shows up in places that are uncomfortable. Like when I'm at home and I'm in my comfort zone, I barely feel disabled. Like when I need a wee, I can just have a wee, right? And now
Yeah.
I've started wearing incontinence products again because, if I need a wee, I have to go to the back of the store, get in the freight elevator, go up, and then go straight back basically where I was before. And if that toilet's free, I can use it. So, and then the fact that using incontinence products makes me feel more disabled because they just, it's something I'm not used to, because I've always got the pleasure of just going to the toilet at my leisure. And it's just all these like little barriers which just remind me that I'm disabled and just, I don't know, it's just interesting. It's just being outside of my comfort zone is something that is so rewarding, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity. But it's one of those things. Be careful what you wish for. I've gone from excited to absolutely exhausted, and I'm like, oh, even though I know the answer is yes, but I'm sort of doubting me. Like, can I carry on like this? And the job isn't that demanding. It's on the checkout at a supermarket, so it might be all in like. I will remind the audience that it's in my second language, so it's all like in French. So my brain is working overtime to process that. But it's just something that shouldn't. I feel like I don't see myself through that lens of like this shouldn't wipe me out. I'm a man. But I'm also a disabled man. So do you understand where that sort of area lies?
No, I totally understand where you're coming from. I think that there's like it's such an interesting thing because and I actually queued up 2 other videos that we can like talk about later, just in terms of like not exactly excuses, but common themes or things that come up that allow us to limit our capacity, I believe. And some of them are actual real things, like this comment here that talks about having progressive MS. That first definitely limits the capacity that she can't change. That was just a typo. You can't change that you have progressive MS. You absolutely can't change that. I can't change that I have a disability, that I have, a neurogenic bladder and bowel, that I have to pee often, that I have bladder infection sometimes, that I have bladder incontinence, like you say. So those are the things that like we're up against. And those are the things that we absolutely can't change about stuff. And that actually do feel very limiting in terms of what our growth potential is, or just what our, not that our growth potential, because I'm sure people could handle almost anything, but whether we should handle it and whether that's actually good for our health and our mental health is like the question that always comes up, right? The bathroom thing is so interesting because when you were talking about that, I just thought in my head about the progression of me having to pee with a catheter on a bed and not knowing how to pee at all outside of like a bedroom, and then building the capacity that I was able to build in order to go in the bathroom at my apartment, and then being able to pee without taking my pants off, and like all these different things that I was like, oh my God, this is so hard. It's so hard. And now the thought of me having to, like, I can change my incontinence pad without getting out of my wheelchair, like just with my butt, like at the end of my seat. And like all of these little things that I just did that seemed so hard at first that were so frustrating. And now I'm just like, I can do all these things on the fly. And having to do them outside of your comfort zone becomes harder. And it's like that when I go to a new school that I'm teaching at, that I don't know where the bathroom is, or it's far away from the classroom, or I happen to have supervision every break. And I'm like, I don't know what to do here because I'm like teaching and I can't really leave right now. And it's like such a weird thing. And then you do feel disabled because you can't just go to the bathroom 2.5 seconds and be back to your job. You have to, go on a big trek to find the accessible bathroom and spend 5 minutes in the bathroom. And yeah, so there's definitely things that make it feel so much harder when you're outside of the house. And I would probably never pee my pants if I was home because I
Yeah.
can go to the bathroom whenever I want. It's not a big deal.
Exactly.
And I can
Yeah,
go
yeah.
fast. So I totally
Yeah.
empathize with that one.
You make a
How
good
is
point.
it-
Like today, for
Go ahead.
example, I'll give you an example. So and there's two different ways of looking at this, but I was like, oh, you know what? It's going to be lunchtime soon, so there's going to be a bit of a rush come in. I've already sort of getting the rhythm after just the first day. I was like, I better go to the toilet. So I said, oh, I'm just going to go to the toilet quickly. And that, like I said before, it involves me going right to the back of the store and getting in the freight elevator, which sometimes have like big, pallets in them. Going up, and then I went to the toilet, and then when I was in the toilet, the light went out, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Maybe it's one of those, didn't think much of it. Anyway, came out, and I was like, oh, all the lights are out, and it was actually a power cut, and this power cut was obviously unexpected, and I was stuck upstairs, right? And it's not that big a deal, like it's, the guys actually came up to say, oh, we'll lift you down the stairs if you need to go down the stairs, and I thought, oh, that's great. But I remember thinking, what if I hadn't I've gone upstairs, and what if the power cut had been before? And I was like, oh my god, I need a wee, and everyone's like, oh my god, the power's out, and I'm sort of like, hey, can someone carry me up the stairs to go to the toilet? It's one of those. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, a power cut is an inconvenience for everyone, but yeah, just I'll let you react to that.
I know it's such a weird. It feels weird having to ask for help for something so menial in most other people's existences, right? Nobody needs help to go to the bathroom as an adult. And if you can't get to the bathroom and you're in a wheelchair, that's always my biggest fear when I'm teaching is that there's going to be a fire drill and I am teaching upstairs in a classroom and I have 27 or 34, depending on how many kids I have in a classroom, kids that I have to get out a very specific door to a specific muster point, and I have to like count them all. And I'm like, I'm not even allowed to use the elevator. And I don't know. I've never been in that situation, but I think about that all the time. I'm like, what would I do? I don't even know. I don't know what I would do. And you just can't, I don't know. Yeah. We go through those things in our minds that are probably not super likely and probably would work themselves out just fine. But we don't really know what to do in those situations. And yeah, like if the power is out for a whole day, do you ask somebody to take you up and down like 3 times during your shift so you can go to the bathroom? Or
Exactly.
do you just pee in the bag and tell somebody to take it to the toilet?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know the people well enough to say that. Like, oh, actually, I just need a dark corner, and a bit of privacy. I don't actually need to go to the toilet, but I haven't had that conversation with any of my work colleagues yet. And also having that conversation in a second language is just a little bit more complex. And also, I don't know. It's not that I don't want to be honest. It's not that I'm embarrassed about it. It's just I don't want to disclose that extra information. I just want to go to the toilet, shut the door, and no questions asked. I don't want people to. I even think about like putting my catheters in the bin, and the person that empties the bin, they're like, "What the hell are these?" Like, I worry about that. I'm like, do I put them in my bag and take them home with me? Because then I shouldn't feel bad about that. I don't know if does that resonate with anyone else, like in the comments. Like, please let me know, because sometimes I feel like taking my empty catheters back home with me just so no one has to see them in the bin and ask questions. Like,
that's really funny. I think I have a little bit of a different situation than you because my catheter is literally just the stick. You have a bag attached to yours. Yeah. So mine,
like
I just put back. Yeah, I just put mine back in the packaging, and I'm sure people do wonder what it is sometimes, but I don't worry as much. I have gotten to the point where in like bathrooms, they have the little like things attached to the stall that females can put like feminine hygiene products in, like tampons and stuff. Well, lots of my friends put their catheter in that little thing. And I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, that like fills up that thing that's meant for, pads and tampons and stuff. And it's not really a garbage. So I'm just like, I just take my catheter, stick it beside me, and then when I like wash my hands and get paper towel, I usually wrap the catheter packaging in the paper towel and put it in the garbage. And like one time my friend was like, "You're just throwing your catheter in like a garbage in a bathroom?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Why not?" I'm like, "What's so gross about it?" I didn't know that like there was anything gross about it. So maybe I'm like just so conditioned to do it, I don't care. But yeah, I don't worry about that as much. But yours are big and they're in like that plastic thing. So then people
Yeah.
are confused. What is that?
So like if you at the end of the shift and there's like 4 of these in the bin and they normally look like I've got the
Yeah.
I put them in like this, so they definitely look a bit sus, you know. And I don't I sometimes think that what is that, you know, is that drug paraphernalia? I don't know if someone's thinking that I'm like huffing gas or something. I don't know. Like I don't know what people are thinking. So yeah, it's interesting. It's really nice to see in the comments that comment has resonated with people. But like yeah, taking my empty catheters home just to avoid awkward conversations about, you know.
Yeah.
With my close friends, I don't mind. But even when I did the poker tournament, right, I would go to the toilet and there was no bin in the disabled area, but it was a big group toilet, right? So I would hide the catheter, right, underneath my thing, and then I'd quickly just dump it in the bin. So I hope no one saw. And I don't know why. I was just embarrassed. I just didn't want to them, especially as the croupier. I don't want them to be like, oh, what's that? You know, what's the croupier doing? Like, are his hands clean? Or I don't know. I just didn't want to.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things.
I think because I've talked about pee so much on the internet, I am wildly too open and forthcoming about that stuff with so many people. Like unbelievably forthcoming about all of that stuff with so many people. And genuinely, like people are like, oh, okay, I don't think anybody's grossed out. I am more grossed out by somebody wiping their butt and not washing their hands than I ever am about anybody cathing themselves and not washing their hands. Because I'm like, that's legit poop coming through, like, you know, fingers through toilet paper, whatever, versus like, you know, even if I'm like cathing myself where I'm like touching some pretty, you know, intimate parts of myself, but it's acidic. It's like, you know what I mean? It's not like gross bacteria. It's what you eat in your yogurt. It's not gross. Like so I'm very forthcoming about that stuff. And I don't ever think people think I'm gross, but I am very anal about anything smelling like pee. I wash my backpack because I carry like a male urinal to cath into. I wash that thing like with disinfectant and stuff like at least twice a week. And I wash it out so many times after I pee in it. And then the container that I carried in, I wash it in the washing machine. I wash my whole backpack. I wash my cushion covers. I wash everything because like never ever do I want something ever to smell like pee or me smell like pee. So I'm more worried about that kind of stuff than I am about like the catheter. But my family will tell you that I'm like pretty lax about that stuff. And I should probably like tone it down a little bit because nobody, you know, at the grocery store needs to know about my catheters or whatever.
Yeah.
I totally get I totally feel the way you feel though, in terms of like the peeing situation, how to, you know, manage that, not make it weird in the bathroom, especially if it's a small employee bathroom.
Yeah. I wanted to show the adaptations that they've made, but I added some things, Brittany, and then you've added some things, and my things just seems to have disappeared. But it's all right. Let me see if I can get it back.
You were what?
I added some things to the anyway. It'll pop up on the screen now. It should do. Fingers crossed. Oh no, there was an issue with my file. I uploaded some files.
Oh, like of work?
You know, like how you've uploaded your movie files.
Yeah.
I uploaded some pictures, but for some reason they've gone.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
Yours are here and mine have gone. What have you done?
Well, you upload them. You upload them right now then, and I'll keep talking. I'll answer some comments.
I am.
Okay. Do you wash your pee jug in your dishwasher? No, James, I do not wash my pee jug in my dishwasher. I generally wash it in the bathroom before I wash like my sink and my toilet and stuff like that. So I will spray disinfectant in it. And then my hand, there you go. My hand is small enough to get inside the pee jug. So I actually like put my hand in there and wash it. and make sure all like the residue and stuff is off. And then, yeah. Oh, I was so curious about that, how you were actually managing inside.
This is like part of me wants to zoom in, like pinch it and zoom in, but that's the adaptation that they've made for me at the supermarket. So it's really nice. They've just knocked it together with, I think, like a pallet and some wood and some metal ramp, and I just wheel up that, and I'm a lot higher, and I can. It's actually perfect. My knees go right underneath the till, and if it was any higher, it would be too high, and if it was any lower, it would be not high enough. So it was absolutely perfect. They absolutely nailed it, and that is a lovely little adaptation, and it just makes me feel very, very included. It's a very nice thing that they did before I arrived. So yeah,
that's cool. One of the grocery stores that's like the closest to my house, it actually has ergonomic tills, so the entire till goes up and down all the way to my level. So if I wanted to work there, I could just work there, and they would just put it at my level because it's just on the floor. You could just sit on the floor, and all the stuff is like at decent height for me. And not that I'm not sure that I could actually get in the little hole that I'm supposed to get in, but that's very cool that they made that adaptation for you, and we're just great about doing it without, I don't know. Sometimes it feels like if people do that, we should be super thankful, but I don't really know whether we should be super thankful. I don't know.
Of course I'm
nice.
very grateful. That's an amazing adaptation that they've made, which makes me working there, which makes it possible for me to work there. Like it's way more comfortable. But yeah, going back to the job, you can see. I'm going to pop it back on the screen again so you guys can get a little bit of a visual. But so I'm sat there. I would love to have got a video, but it's my first day on the job. I was like, hey, can you get a video like for my bloody YouTube channel? And then I don't want them really looking at my YouTube channel either. Anyway, but so I managed to get a quick picture. But I'm sat there, and this is where I'm sitting for many hours. And the job is simple. Everyone's been to a supermarket. You see the guy, and it's not necessarily too physical. It's quite social. It's really nice. I'm the only English member of staff there, so all the team are French. It's like exclusively in French. Lots of the clients are in French, but a lot of them are in English as well. And because I'm the only natural English speaker there, they love it. And a lot of them know me as well. Hey, Fredo, how's it going? And I didn't know you worked here. And it's really nice to have a nice little conversation. But I guess what I'm leading to really is why I felt why it was such a surprise to me that I felt so utterly exhausted after my shift today. I was just like, and I started to question whether I can do this when it's not physically, it's not taxing. It's like, I know this is something that resonates a lot with people, but it's quite exhausting sitting on your ass all day. Like the body is not meant to be sat down, and when you're in your wheelchair all day, it does it. Do you know what I mean? It sounds like for someone able-bodied, they might be like, "Oh, you get to sit down all day. Your job's quite easy." Like I get the lads coming in from construction. They're like, "Oh, well, at least it's nice and warm in here. This, looks like a good job for you, isn't it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is a good job. I don't want to deny it. It's a perfect job for me. It's great." But why am I so exhausted? Why am I so utterly exhausted? I don't know. I just wanted to ask you. Likely it's probably going to get better. When I get more used to it. But it just took me by surprise how much it just took out of me just bloody working at a supermarket.
I think that I totally hear that, because a lot of the time when I'm working, all I'm doing is babysitting kids. I'm not planning any lessons. I'm just basically hanging out with kids. But sometimes I come home and I'm so tired, and I've really done nothing all day except for, hang out with kids and sit in my wheelchair. But it's somehow been very exhausting. So I don't really know how to explain the kind of exhaustion that happens when you're holding your trunk up, using your neck to balance for things, leaning over, bending over, doing things like that. Or even just you're looking up at a bunch of people, in the supermarket as you speak to them, which shouldn't be a big deal most of the time because everybody that you look up at is usually able-bodied. But there's just a lot of little things that we don't really think about in terms of how exhausting something might be. And sometimes it's just our energy going into it, because some days I teach and I'm I had the best day on the planet. I was so energetic. And then some days I go into a classroom and my energy is low, responding to my low energy. I have a really bad day. Kids are just jerky because I'm not feeling very excited or welcoming. And I never really know like what makes me go into one classroom and have like the best day ever and a great interaction with the kids. And then another day where I'm just like, I hate this. I don't want to ever come back into a school again. And I don't really know what the answer is, whether it's my energy, whether it's just generally the energy in the atmosphere, whether it's my sleep, how much sleep I've had, all that stuff. I don't know. But yeah, I think that you're probably going to have most days where it just kind of feels like, this is okay.
Yeah. That's what I was worried about. I was worried about like, oh, has the novelty worn off already? Is it just like this mundane job that I've got now? Like, am I going to like, oh, I've got to go to work? All of a sudden I've been like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to start something new. How amazing. It's going to be in my second language. I'm going to learn French. I'm going to make new friends to like, oh, I've got to go to work, like,
yeah.
Surely the novelty wears off at some point, but not after the first day. Come on, like I want to keep the novelty. I want to keep it alive.
I don't know how to really like keep that alive. There's like so many people out there that are like personal development people or business people or, that say that successful people aren't motivated people, they're disciplined people. And I think that's just life because you're not going to be motivated or cheerful or chipper every day. And you can have a choice whether you show up like that at your job. And I think that having the discipline to show up in a good mood and interact with people in a positive way so that they have a good experience is a part of the discipline that you can bring to the job, whether you're motivated to do it or not, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is a good comment here. It says cognitive fatigue from language. I bet that's what's so draining.
Huge.
Yeah, I do forget that. So I am using my second language all day long, and it's really coming on really good. And also I've noticed that I was having a conversation today, and it was with a lady who's very nice. She's my work colleague. But we were having a conversation about my disability, and it's one of those conversations. It's a little intrusive. It's not that bad, we're getting to know each other. It's fine. But she's like, "Oh, do your legs work?" I'm like, "No." "Oh, so you're not going to walk ever?" And I'm like, "No." "How long's it been?" 7 years. But you can feel your legs. I can feel them, but you can't move them. No, I can't move them. I'm completely paralyzed. I'm having this juxtaposition of like, I'm having a conversation in French. I'm understanding exactly everything she's saying and I'm communicating in my second language. How amazing is this? But then I'm also having a conversation I don't want to have. It's this weird, dual reality of like, oh, I don't want to talk about this, but I don't know how to be, what's the word, where to draw my boundaries in my second language. I'm just a bit passive, like, oh, we can have a conversation in French, but maybe I don't really know how to say, do you know what, maybe not.
Yeah.
And also it's not something I don't necessarily hate talking about. It's just one of those things. It's like, people are curious anyway.
I never know how to like, that specific conversation when somebody says, like, how long's it been? What? You're never going to walk again? Like, I hate that comment. I'm like, what is why is that productive? Why does that pop into somebody's mind? Like, oh my God, like what? How you're never, ever, ever. And you're like, nope, never, ever, like, no, I don't want to tell you. So that one bugs me a little bit, but most of the time I'm genuinely very like happy to talk about my disability. I would much rather somebody ask curious or like authentic questions about life with a disability. Like, some people are like, is it hard to get an accessible placard, or can you just park wherever you want? Or like some people ask questions about that kind of stuff. So then I don't mind talking about that. But the people who are, can I touch your leg? Or like, really, you can't feel that? Yeah. Like, I can't feel.
This lady, she's Italian, so she is very full on, like she like the others, like, so for example, there's a staff member, I won't go into names, just in case, they'll remain nameless. There's one French lady who is when she tells me things, she just keeps a respectable distance from me, talks, like, this is how you do things, blah blah blah. The Italian lady, she's like, bella, she put her arm right round me. I'm like, I'm on the till, she's like stood behind me, she's got her arm literally right round me, like pushing buttons on the till, like, this is how you do it. And she's touching everyone when the clients come in, she's like, mwah, mwah. Like, she's awesome. She is very high energy, very very cool. So yeah, when she's like touching me, she's touching my leg. She's like, yeah, you can feel that then. I'm like, yeah, I can feel that. Like it's a little bit, it's just her personality type. It's very touchy feely, and a lot of the clients really like it. But I'll be honest with you. After the first day, I was like, oh, this lady is very cool. After the second day, I was like, whoa, this is a lot.
The people that have so much energy like that it's so infectious, like the first time you meet them, but then you're like, okay, like I'm not sure, like I'm in the mood for that much energy right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the people who do that, like, what? Like, oh my God, like really? Like you can't feel, you're just like, I guess it's because we have lived with it for so many years. We're like, yep, really, that's it. And they're still really surprised about it. I don't know. Like they've only just found out. So it's very surprising for them. But those are those odd conversations that you're like, I don't really want to be having this one, but here we are. I generally try to ask other people questions or like move it away, but like sometimes you can't get a word in edgewise with some of those people.
Yeah. But again, like navigating the difficult conversations in a second language where your vocabulary is so reduced, your ability to communicate is so basic. And you're like, ooh, it might just be easier to just go with the flow with this conversation, And anyway, so but on the subject of French, I'm being exposed to it every day, and I'm speaking it every day. So it's really like ramped up. It's probably even more than the croupier stuff. The croupier stuff was just so overwhelming, and now my brain has suddenly switched into sort of like understanding mode, and it almost feels like something's changed. And I'm just so grateful for it. I'm like, oh, amazing. This is what it's like to understand French without constantly sort of translating. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, amazing. And just to reply, I can feel myself getting more fluent. I know it's only 2 days at work, but it's been recently, like with the French lessons, I've like made a sharp, I've like gone from a plateau to like a poof. And I'm like, yes, so that's good.
I think that like in it just by itself is such a huge benefit. Especially if you guys like plan to have kids in France. I mean, it's going to be really helpful to have your kids be able to speak to your kids, because I'm assuming that they will be fluent in both French and English, or I don't know which languages they would be fluent in, but they would Spanish. Probably be they'll be like trilingual people that can talk to so many different others with languages. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think probably the language thing is exhausting. I think probably talking to people all day long is exhausting, because that's one of the things that, like, being a teacher, just having people need things from you all day is like, oh, okay, just a second. Or somebody needs this and somebody else needs this, and I forget that this I'm doing something for somebody over here, and then I'm like, oh my God, and I don't know who's out in the bathroom, and then I'm like, where's this person? How long have they been gone for? And I'm just like, it's so much, and you have to like, do you have to memorize the codes for the vegetables?
Yeah, so no, I have to memorize the type. There's like, I think 6 different types of pears, and they all look different. And some of them are very obvious, and some of them are very, very similar, and they're different prices. And they're like, "Hey, you gotta memorize." Oh, mate, there are 30 different types of bread, 30 different types of bread, and they are real. I mean, it's easier to identify the different types of fruit than it is to identify the different types of bread. Oh my God, they are normally like everyone just has the pain tradition, like just the baguette, right? The normal baguette. And then there's a slightly cheaper baguette. But there's so many different ones, and there's some have like the cut
Slits.
differently when they're cooked, and some have cut down the middle, and some are like complet, which is like whole grain, and some are maïs, which is what's the word? Corn flour. So yeah, all sorts of different types of bread, and like the lady is explaining it to me, like, and this one's this because you can tell because it looks exactly the same as this one, and I'm like, what you? So when they come to the till, normally I just say, oh, do you know what type of bread this is? And they're like, oh, it's the Viking loaf, and I'm like, oh, they have a Viking loaf as well, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, that's quite that's an extra challenge.
Oh, I can't even imagine, really. I suppose like repetition, you would get used to it, but still that seems like utterly exhausting. I wanted to sort of like switch gears and stay on the same topic, but kind of go into those like things that we make excuses about or actual legitimate things. And maybe if I don't know if my videos are still up, but I have 2 videos. So one talks about mental health being like it's like you have to build up your stamina to have really good mental health, essentially, is what she's saying. And then one talks about victimhood. So I thought we could just like play the both of them and see if anybody in the audience or you has used these 2 excuses, protecting your mental health, or that you have challenges or whatever, and see what she says about them, and then you can react to them. So this one is about mental health.
Excellent. Just before
Mental
you jump
health.
into that.
Sorry, just a sec. Sorry.
No,
Like
just before you jump into that, I was just thinking about how the brain is like a muscle, and like I go to the gym and my muscles get stronger and I don't get so fatigued, and I feel like maybe my brain is a muscle, and just because I'm feeling fatigue after the first 2 days, I just need to build up that stamina, which ties perfectly into what you said. So we can go into that now, and it might resonate.
It totally is. So yeah, I have to start this from the beginning again.
The absence of struggle is not the absence of pain, and it's
just a sec. I have to go like back so that you guys can see the whole thing.
thing is understanding that mental health is not the absence of struggle. It's not the absence of pain. And it's important that all of the teens in here understand that, because they have language today, and language drives your perception and it drives your resilience. And I think that we all know that there are certain barriers that we face on a daily basis. We don't know if they will change. And if you get wrapped up into the mental health language or the terminology today, the very thing that we are promoting here on this stage, we lose that. So it's understanding that mental health is not about comfort, it's about capacity. I always tell people, everybody today, we want to feel good, but do we want to become better?
So I think about this a lot in when I think about empowerment. So I always say that there is no empowerment without pain first. Like, you can't ever feel empowered without having felt fear and discomfort first, because everything that has ever made me feel empowered is something I didn't think I was capable of, something that was super hard, something that overwhelmed me. And then when I came out on the other side of it, I looked and I was like, holy fuck, I did that. I'm so badass. And you don't feel empowered unless you go through that. If you're like, that was a piece of cake, you don't feel empowered. You're like, okay, that was nothing. So you can't ever feel empowered unless you feel like you've struggled and overcome some sort of struggle. And mental health is the same, I think. So I do believe, as people with disabilities, when we talk about, like, in the comments, I've seen like chronic UTIs is a stressful thing when you have a job and that comes up. There's all these challenges that we have to face that maybe not everybody has to face, but plenty of women have chronic UTIs or other things, sickness, things like that affect their jobs. But is that something that we should be protecting ourselves from and retreating and being like, okay, this is too much for my mental health? Or is it something that we just have to like become empowered through? So I'll let you react to that one, and then we'll talk about like the victimhood one after that, because that's more of like a perception mindset thing versus, a resilience thing.
Yeah, absolutely. The lady said something, the very last sentence she said really resonated with me, but I can't remember exactly what she said. Can I just play it again?
First thing is understanding that mental health is not capacity. I always tell people, everybody today, we want to feel good, but do we want to become better?
Ah, there we go. Yeah, to feel good versus becoming better.
Yeah.
I like that, yeah, because I remember that resonated with me so much when she said it, because when I come home, I crashed out and I was just like, and I had a nice nap. And I felt, honestly, my body needed to recharge, but I was like, I want to feel good, but do I want to become better? And to become better, you have to go through discomfort, which is, again, what you said. But yeah, I do want to become better. I want to become better at French. And and also I want to be a contributing member to society, a member of the community. Like when you come in and you see me at the table, like, oh, I know that guy. He works. When I see other people around town, I'm like, oh, that lady works at Carrefour. She's on the till, and I recognize people, because they have their little place. They have their little member of the community, and I want my little member of the community badge, because at the moment a lot of days I just stay in, especially with the snow. I just sometimes, like a lot of the times since it snowed, I haven't left the house at all, and it's really sad. But I am very comfortable, and like I said at the beginning of the podcast, when I'm in my house, I'm in my comfort zone, I don't feel very disabled. You know, I've only got to wheel around the house. But when I've got to get in the car and then clear snow off the car and, you know, de-ice the car, then drive to a supermarket, you know, where the toilet isn't, you know, just wherever, I just go wherever, you know, I'm at home. These are all these things that make me feel more disabled. But like I say, that I might feel uncomfortable, but I am becoming better. I'm actually living. I'm actually going out in the world and just acknowledging how low my baseline is. I've got a friend who's travels the world doing like crazy stuff, and I just realized how low my baseline is to go from unemployed to working in the supermarket and being stoked about it, and his baseline is so high, you know. But like, I think it's interesting how I'm really rambling here. I'm just going off on a little bit of a tangent.
I totally understand what you're saying.
But like, basically how when your baseline's so low, you get so stoked by little things, and like little things to some people don't mean that much, but like they mean so much to me. Like, oh, I got a job, you know, I'm worthy, I'm seen, you know, and then I'm struggling, and anyway, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I totally know what you mean. I did this presentation a long time ago that talked about comfort zones, stretch zones, and like freedom zones or whatever, to where you expand. And the more discomfort that you put yourself in, your comfort zone expands, your panic zone gets smaller, and your freedom zone gets bigger. And it's the same with this. Like, I think that there's so many people. I was actually just talking to a guy yesterday because I was filming for something at the rehab hospital that they wanted done. And it was a guy who is the research kind of lead. And he is from Nigeria, has lived in the UK, a bunch of places in the UK, and now he lives in Canada. And I was just talking about this same thing, like his comfort zone with chaos, with travel, with moving, with just, you know, anything. Because he said his family lives all over everywhere. Like he said, some of my family lives in the UK, some of them live in the United States, some of them live in like all over. And so I'm like, you don't get to see your family that much. Whereas I'm like, my world is small. Like my family lives 4.5 hours away from me, every single one of my family members. And I've only ever lived in this one province, and I've never, ever spoken a different language fluently or anything like that. Whereas he's from Nigeria and has had to learn lots of different things. But he said, like, if nobody ever pushed him to do something, he's like, I never would have left Nigeria. He said, I was perfectly comfortable where I was. And he's like, all of my family was like, why are you staying in Nigeria? None of your immediate family still lives in Africa. Like, what are you doing here? And he's like, what do I need to leave for? I'm totally set. And he's like, so everybody's always kind of like pushed him outside of his comfort zone and made him expand that level of like freedom or whatever that he's empowerment that he's achieved. And I think that when we can either expand it or shrink it. So like, I was thinking about this morning when I was like driving Jamie to school. Cause I was like, at one point I was at home. My mom did everything for me. I was terrified to do anything. And that felt very comfortable. But then eventually the comfort feels really shitty. So then I grew, and I grew so much in a short amount of time. I learned how to do all my personal care. I started university. I met my husband. I got pregnant in the middle of university. I had a baby. I went back to university. I was doing like full-time school with a little baby and being paralyzed and doing all these things. And yet somehow I was handling all of that shit. I was just like handling it. And now the thought of that I'm getting a puppy, and like, I'm so afraid of it. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do with a dog? I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm so like, I lost my momentum with YouTube, and now my capacity for like anything has shrunk so small that I just feel so scared at all the thought of having to like do anything that takes up my time. Cause I'm like, oh my God, that's just stressing me out. But I know I'm capable of it because I did it before. I just don't know how we build that back. It's so hard.
Yeah. I feel you. It is hard. It's like be careful what you wish for, you know, because you like, I really wanted this job, and now I've got it. I'm like, oh God, working's hard, isn't it?
I know, and it's really like, if we're honest, it's not, I don't want to say lazy, but you get to a level of comfort with having a free time. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have this much free time, and I can take a nap here, or if I have a headache, whatever, you have the freedom to do that stuff, which is such a privilege. I mean, like, we'll just acknowledge that right now, that if you've gotten lazy enough without starving, you know,
Yeah.
you have a level of privilege that's, you know, amazing and above what a lot of people could even dream of. But yeah, it's really hard. The next video I wanted to like show is about victimhood, because I think one of these things is a mindset thing that especially people with disabilities can get trapped in, and it can feel like self-awareness. So she talks about victimhood disguised as self-awareness, and I think this is something that we most definitely have a problem with in society these days, because we're like, I'm setting boundaries, I'm self-aware, but really we're just scared little people who don't want to grow, and we're using all of these like, you know, real things, disability, whatever, race, anything, as a victimhood mentality. So just listen to this one.
Victimhood doesn't always sound like blame. Sometimes it sounds like the self-awareness that we see today.
Why is it not?
I'm a Black woman, so I have to work twice as hard. I'm a mom, so no one really supports me.
Hold on. I think.
Yeah.
So this
Can't
is just
see
how I am. I'm
There
a
we go.
therapist, so
Should we start from the
Yeah,
beginning?
sort of.
victimhood doesn't always sound like blame. Sometimes it sounds like the self-awareness that we see today. I'm a Black woman, so I have to work twice as hard. I'm a mom, so no one really supports me. I'm neurodivergent, so this is just how I am. I'm a therapist, so people expect me to have it all together. None of these identities are wrong or the thinking behind it, but when they become the reason you explain why life is always harder for you, you're not standing in your power anymore. You're filtering your life through everything that you feel like you've lacked or lack. Because you can be aware and still anchored in defeat. You can be healing and still rehearsing powerlessness. Victimhood isn't always a mindset. Sometimes it is a pattern of perception. And one that tells you that your identity is a barrier and not a beginning. Until you start to challenge that perception, your identity won't expand you. It will continue to shrink you.
Okay, so
Yeah, I like
you can
that.
react to that one.
I think that was literally what I was saying about how is it just the fact that I haven't been working for like 8 months? I've become accustomed to a very leisurely lifestyle because of my disability, kind of, and you know, I'll just get used to it regardless of my disability. Or am I struggling because of my disability, or am I using it as an excuse? Because I hate using it as an excuse for anything. I don't see myself through that lens. I don't see myself as a weak person, one who gets exhausted at like menial tasks, you know, someone that can't handle a couple of early mornings, you know. Is it to do with my disability? That's an easy way. That's an easy out, isn't it? Oh well, you know, I'm struggling with a spinal cord injury, don't you know?
Yeah.
Well, that is valid. It's both. It's valid that I am disabled, but I don't want to play the victim. I don't see myself as a victim, but at the same time, I do use those excuses. But I think they're valid. So like, there's a grey area there. I'd love to explore it with you. Yeah.
That's why I love this psychologist. Like I watch her so much, because I'm like, I have gone so far into the, you know, depths of my brain to be like, what is valid in terms of what I'm seeing or saying and how I see myself. And I think like the end there where she said if you see your whatever your circumstances as the barrier instead of the beginning, that's the problem. So if you always look at it as the barrier, then it will be a barrier. So if I say my bladder is the barrier to me working full time, or you see it as a beginning to something that you can find a solution for, then you could be like, so when I started peeing my pants a lot, and I was like, I used to just carry one incontinence pad with me. I couldn't even change it when I was out and about. So I would have to come home and change it. So I would just sit and pee because I didn't pee that much. But then I started peeing a lot, and I was like, this is either a barrier to me going out, or I have to figure out how to change my incontinence pad from my wheelchair. So that's what I did. And so now me peeing my pants is no longer a barrier to me being out, because I have incontinence pads coming out the wazoo in my car. I have at least 3 in my backpack at all times. And if I pee, because I don't generally pee a lot, I just pee in my incontinence pad, but I still don't want to sit in like a squishy pad that has pee in it. That's gross. So I change it. And it became the thought of it being a barrier to me not being able to go out and do things was too much for me. So I found a solution. But I think that there's a lot of times where, because those things are desirable for me to socialize, all the things that I want to do. So I found a solution. But the work is not super satisfying, and we don't want to do the things that are hard. So we're like, our disability is the barrier. I'm sorry. It's not my unwillingness to find a solution. It's my disability. I can't do it. And I think that a lot of the times we masquerade our disability as self-awareness so that we don't have to do the things that push us outside of our comfort zone or that take discipline without motivation. So like so many times we're not motivated to do the things that don't bring us pleasure, and yet they still require the discipline to do it. And our disability is a convenient and very admirable excuse. So if you talk about your disability as the excuse, nobody's going to be like, dude, suck it up. They're going to be like, yeah, dude, like your life is already hard enough. Go take a nap. And like, people will never, I always say this, people will never make the bar higher than you will for yourself. Able-bodied people will always expect less of you than you will of yourself because they don't know what you're capable of. They think you're capable of less. So anyway, I thought that victimhood thing was very, very relevant to our community, and especially to me right now, because everything in my life, I'm like, I don't have the energy for that. But I'm like, no, it's just that I'm too fucking lazy to organize my life and my time. And I'm using it as a giant excuse not to do things. Like I'm starting this community, but every time I'm like, I'm going to start the community, it takes about 5 seconds. I'm like, then I have to go live when I work out because I'm promising to go live when I do my workouts. And I'm like, oh, but then I have to commit to it. I promise it'll be done by next Tuesday. But still, I'm like, oh, it's just an excuse.
Well, that hits hard, and that pep talk was very, very relatable. Yeah, it's like, you take a nap, you deserve it. And sometimes I'm like, I do really deserve it. Yeah, I love napping, So, yeah, it's interesting because, like, I don't want to see myself through that lens. But it's there, like I can't ignore it. I literally can't like think my way past my spinal cord injury. It's not the same, is it? There are physical barriers that I have to acknowledge, and there are things that, like I say, and there are mental barriers. The mental barriers you can overcome, right? It's the physical barriers that you can't ignore.
This is a good segue to one of the physical barriers that you absolutely can't ignore, and that a lot of people do ignore, even at the expense of their health. So I have a pressure sore right now on this butt cheek, which I'm going to go get off of it right after this. It's not actually a pressure sore. It's a friction and shearing injury from a shitty shower chair that I got from Amazon, a shower cushion. It's not the shower chair. I love the shower chair. I'm going to do a whole review on it. But I got a shitty cushion because I was like, I'll get an Amazon one because it's cheap. And I got one that was like terrible. And inside is like kind of hard. It's very hard to describe. It's like a matrix of like plastic, almost like 3D printed plastic, which when you actually sit on it all at one, it's very cushiony. But underneath the kind of abrasive cover was hard plastic pieces. So like when I was transferring, and I have a very far transfer to my shower, so I hit it like hard and I'm kind of sliding when I go. I was like rubbing my bone against my skin on my IT bone, and I didn't even know it. I have no idea how long this bruise or shearing injury has been developing. It was only until I was in my chair for many hours a day doing Brian's memorial video. I was like up till like 1 a.m. one night. My legs were freaking out. I was getting autonomic dysreflexia. I was like, what's wrong? I took my shoes off. I did all these things. Couldn't figure it out. And then the next morning I looked at my butt and I was like, okay, there it is. It's a pressure sore. I still couldn't figure out what it was from, but it was like just red. And it was like, okay, the next morning was like almost healed. Then I had a shower. I got out and it was like bruised and purple and horrible. It's like, oh, it's from my shower transfer. So those are one of the things that if you have a job and you have to sit on your butt all day and you get a pressure sore, that's a real thing that, actually you don't have the capacity to just continue to sit on your butt and do your job. Because I know 3 people in my local area who have died from infected pressure sores. Oh. So they are serious business. And that is one of those things that actually it's not any kind of excuse at all. It's a legit health, emergency. So yeah, this is a good segue to the spine. You can't think your spinal cord injury away.
So you make a good point, because when you told me earlier that you were struggling with a pressure sore, I was thinking if I got a pressure sore, and I'm very lucky. Like when you said about the pressure sore, I was like, oh, I'm lucky I don't get pressure sores. Which is
Yeah.
wildly optimistic. It's unrealistic. I've had a pressure sore before. I caught it early, but I've got what I mean is I've got sensation. So whenever I get that, you get that feeling.
Yeah.
My leg moves a certain way when I'm uncomfortable, and I know that I have to move.
Yeah.
I'm sat on something. It's very unlikely that I will give myself a pressure sore, but I'm not immune to it. So wildly optimistic. My brain was like, I don't get pressure sores. Lucky me. But I could do. Who knows? Like, if I did, you could fall on the floor and get a pressure sore, right? Or any sort of abrasion that would have to keep me off my bum.
Yeah.
Then if I said, I've just started my new job, right? And then if I have to say, oh yeah, I've got a little mark on my bum, I can't come into work. It would feel, I don't know if it would feel like to them if it was a poor excuse. Oh, he's only just started. He probably doesn't want the job anymore. He apparently he can't sit in his chair. Like, who can't sit in a bloody wheelchair? Like, it's a legitimate excuse, but at the same time, it doesn't sound like one,
Exactly. Well, and that is actually like such a huge reason why a lot of the people that I know have gotten seriously bad pressure sores that have put them in the hospital for 6 weeks because they had a full-time job that they were just like, I can't not work. And so that's why I'm so anal about prevention, because like this pressure sore is healing, because it's not actually, they still call it a pressure injury because you have to relieve the pressure in order for it to heal properly. But it's a friction injury, and it's actually like just an injury that happened. And like, yeah, like I've always been that way too, because I'm like, I check my skin all the time. I do pressure lifts. I move around all the time. I never, ever have issues with pressure. It's always some other thing. And yeah, this was just one of those things I didn't even think about. I did not even think about the consistency of the material in my cushion, and that I was actually like shearing my skin against my bone every time I hit that hard material, which is why there's a lot of things that like, and you might be able to absolutely buy quality products off of Amazon that do actually do a lot to prevent like pressure injuries. But, if you have the money, buy like a legitimate cushion that's designed to prevent pressure injury. Cause I'm like, I learned my lesson. So I'm getting proper shower chair cushion things, because I couldn't get a cushion shower chair. I just couldn't find one. So now I have to get cushions made for it. But yeah. And somebody had a question in here about, am I not bathing for the next couple of weeks? LOL. Joe lifted me into the shower the other day just so that I wasn't doing that like slide when I transferred. But I think I'm okay now that I have proper gel mats from Blake Medical that I had. And I was using a cheap one from Amazon because I was like, I'm just going to do this and review it and see if it's a good cushion. It's not. So don't.
Well, are you gonna make a review?
I'm gonna do my second video today, but I did one video that I just have to edit about the first day with my pressure sore, and showed my shower chair situation, like what caused it. And then I'm gonna do a video today about like how much to eat, how much protein to eat with a pressure sore, the important vitamins and things like that, so that you can heal it quickly. But I will do a little review of like that. I did show the cushion in my video to be like, don't buy this cushion. It's really shitty.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's good.
What else? I think there's lots and lots of comments. We could probably just sort of jump in there now and see if anybody's got any.
This guy, Ben Johnson. It's a funny joke. Well, not really a joke, but didn't Christopher Reeves die from an infected pressure sore? More dangerous than kryptonite. Boom, boom.
Yeah, it's a legit thing. It is more dangerous than kryptonite.
Yeah.
This guy, I think it's a guy, had surgery on both of my IT bones for pressure sores. Yeah, they're bad news.
This is DSA 420 MER 7.
You
remember
him
from last week?
That's the
Wheelchair Every Day.
Channel. Ian,
Ian messaged me on Facebook. What up, Ian? So yeah, we're Facebook friends. He said he has an interest in coming on the podcast. Yeah. So we could have him on and
absolutely
get to know each other live on air, which would be great. So Ian's put lots of comments that have really resonated with him today, which is nice. And we do keep an eye on the comments. I really appreciate.
Yeah.
If we don't acknowledge the comments all the time, but we do keep an eye on them. But it is also quite distracting to have a conversation about a theme, a topic, and also see the comments. But yeah.
This one says, my boyfriend's currently struggling to get back into work. He has severe nerve pain, but realistically, he needs to get back to work and earn money. It's so damn hard to figure out. This is the one that a lot of people, when they have nerve pain, they think that like relaxing or doing whatever, and it is like every bit of research says the exact opposite for nerve pain, that being active, busy, like occupying your mind with things is the fastest way to heal, or not heal nerve pain, but like reduce nerve pain, because your brain centers that are responsible for pain are actually super active. And if you stimulate other parts of your brain, then those will like decrease. So I have a lot of people that have like quit work because of nerve pain and all of that stuff. And I think it's just like the absolute wrong thing to do. But I also don't know your exact situation, and I only know the nerve pain that I have and what helps it. So,
what are your hours, Fred? Well, I start work at 6:45, and they told me to get in 15 minutes before my shift. They're like, oh, you got to get in there before, so you can go upstairs and clock in and everything. And because I'm a little bit, nervous and excited about starting work, I've been getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, way too early, really. And then I got there today at 25 past, so I was 20 minutes early. And then I realized I'm just early. Like the shop doesn't even open till 7. I'm not sure why they say, get there 15 minutes before your shift. But yeah, I just got there way too early today. And I remember thinking, there's no point. But anyway, my hours are 6:45 start in the morning, and then I work until 1:15. So it's not that bad. I have the afternoon off, but most of the afternoon I feel like going to sleep. And then tomorrow is my jour de congé, which is a day off, and then on Thursday, I start work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So then I'll be like, I'll do like the opposite. I'll like work the evening shift, and we'll see what that's like. So yeah, my hours are fairly varied, and yeah, it's pretty good.
I would 1000% rather work the morning to 1 o'clock than work in the evening. I am much more like peppy in the morning. Although somebody told me on here a long time ago that evening Brittany is way better, and I'm like, I don't think so. I feel less peppy in the evenings, but our Empowered Pair Zoom hangouts used to be in the evenings, and I had a decent time doing it at that time too. Speaking of which, if you guys are not part of my Patreon and you want to join my Patreon at the $10 tier, you can come hang out with me this Saturday at 10 a.m., same time as the podcast, but we're on Zoom. So instead of you just like, randomly talking in the comments, you can actually talk to me. It's mostly just a bunch of guys and me, and which is so weird because there's this other girl, Jess Strachan, or I can't ever remember her last name. But she's like she's got Wheel With Me Foundation, and she does empowerment weeks all the time. And sometimes I do presentations at those, and it's always women. And she says all of her programming is all women. And I'm like, everything I ever do is all men. I'm like, I asked that to Joe. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, I don't know what it is. It's all guys with disabilities. I have tons of friends that are guys with disabilities. And I was like, what is it about me that women don't like to join my stuff? I'm like, no girls want to join my stuff. I just spit a big spit on my screen. So if there's any girls in here and you want to come hang out with a bunch of guys, there is one, Robin, who is Chris's wife. She joins. So just there's one wife that comes, and then sometimes Samantha, she comes too. But
oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a bunch of guys normally. So yeah, you can come join us. But anyway, there's lots more comments.
What is the weirdest place that you've peed?
The weirdest place that I've peed. Accidentally or on purpose?
I would say on purpose. Like where's like a sneaky calf?
Probably the weirdest place that I've ever peed is in that, like when I did that Walmart thing and I was in a makeup trailer for like hours and hours and there was no bathroom and I had to be lifted into the makeup trailer. The bathroom was in a holiday trailer RV thing and I couldn't get in it. So I had to like pee in the back of a makeup trailer behind like a little curtain. And then the makeup artist had to take my pee into the RV and dump it in the toilet, which was great. I was like, I'm like, I don't know what else to do at this point because I'm like, I can't get in there, and they didn't make sure I had a bathroom. So that's probably the weirdest place. I can't think of anything weirder.
I have had so many weird wees. I was just thinking about it. I weed on the podcast quite a lot of times.
Yeah,
I
that's probably
weed.
the weirdest.
I weed in the gym. I don't know why, because basically I was wearing shorts, so it was very easy. But I didn't. This was before I realized that I could get in the toilet at the gym. Like the gym
Yeah.
toilet is perfectly accessible, but I'd never even knew it was there. So I remember like just doing one in the gym. Oh, I tell you what, the winner. I think I thought about this earlier for some reason. The winner had to be when I went out on the quadrics, like
I know what it is. It's very cool.
like a 4x4
Yeah.
adaptive mountain bike
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah,
It's
and
very
it was a
cool.
really, really fun day out. And I was in the back of a vehicle, and I was with all these four French guys. This was when my French wasn't that good, and they were all talking between them. And I was like, "Oh my god, I need a wee! I need a wee!" And then just did a wee in the car. I had shorts on. I just slipped the catheter up my shorts leg, filled it up. And I think one of the guys saw me, but he didn't say anything. And then I just like slipped it out and then like put it under my t-shirt. And then when we got to the top, I ended up wheeling over to my car and just put it in my car before we went over to the quadrics. And I don't know. I didn't say anything, but I knew that if I didn't go, I would wee myself. So yeah, I did one
Yeah.
in the back of someone's car.
That's really funny. I think actually probably the most awkward place I've peed is in an airplane. And like
Ooh.
when it's like somebody's beside you, that's really awkward. And
Mm.
it's very similar to what you were doing in the car because you're just like, oh, I hope they don't see, which they don't because like nobody's really looking over at you, like staring at your lap when you're in an airplane. That would be rude. And I'd try and put like my backpack or something kind of over what I'm doing. But that's probably the weirdest place I
Yeah,
peed.
I've definitely had some sneaky wheeze in lots of different places. Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that one. There's this comment. Our minds don't match our body anymore. My dad says this all the time about getting old. So I feel like having a disability is very similar. You just want to do things that your body is like, probably not anymore. That's not gonna happen.
Oh, Chris.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go on.
ahead.
You can
Yeah.
answer that
I was
question.
gonna say, Brittany, do you realize when you need to pee? I do feel when I have to pee. I have bladder sensation, which is the only thing that I can feel below my level of injury, which is like, I'd rather have bladder sensation probably than sexual sensation because it's more useful, I think. But I'm like, well, if I'm gonna get something down there, like, why can't I get both? But I don't. So.
So James put up. Has anyone got their Christmas tree up yet? And this is. I really want to share with you guys that I got really Christmassy lately. Like we have our Christmas tree in storage, and it's only a small one. It's just behind me. I don't know if you can see it. But anyway, we got our little Advent pockets up, and every year I like to make Chris little Advent cards, like this one, for example. I don't know if you
Yeah.
can see it. It says, "You're really starting to loosen up," and it's
You should get a massage.
yeah, and it's a massage voucher. Wait.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I like, and she's made me one, which is really nice, and it says Feliz Navidad, you know. So
Aw.
we make each other these little cards, but I made one. I made a really
Look at
funny
this.
one.
On
Hold
the
on.
12th day of
Sorry.
Christmas, my true love gave to me.
Where is it? Where is it? Hold on. Whoa. Wait, here it is.
Look at this. On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
Oh my
brilliant.
God!
Brilliant.
Okay, we're gonna get banned on YouTube for that.
Sorry. I couldn't help myself. It's just a drawing. It's just fun. It's just
I know.
funsies.
I'm just joking, but that's hilarious. That brought to mind we have this like game called Telestrations, and Telestrations is like
Yeah.
do you know what it is?
I've played
Okay,
it. Yeah, it's
So
great.
it's a super fun game, but there's one called Telestrations After Dark, and they're like naughtier things. So I played with Jacob because he's like almost 18 now. I go 17, I guess. And my nephew, who's a little bit younger, and it was I'm like, I can't draw these things. I don't want to. And then like the
Yeah.
one time I tried, it was terrible. They're like, you are awful at this. I'm like, I know. I'm like, I don't draw that stuff a lot. Why would I draw that stuff? And Jamie
Yeah.
she was like with us for like 2 seconds. She's like, this is horrible. She's like, I'm never playing this game again. But I'm like, and it wasn't even like anything bad. It was just like, yeah, it wasn't really bad. There was nothing really bad, but
It's like
that just
making
reminded me.
snowmen with you.
What are you doing? Why is it always...
That's not where the carrot
Get off the
goes.
screen! Get off the screen! Wait a sec. There's another one I wanted to show you. It's much cleaner. Sorry, Jesus. This what's up with StreamYard today? Sorry, this is the one. Where is it? Add to stage. No! Go away! God damn it!
Snowmen.
You have to delete that one.
What the hell? I'm trying to add a
Carrot
different
goes.
one. Oh no! Look! Oh God's sake! Here we go.
Making snowmen with you. That's not where the carrot goes.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
See, that was what is up with me? I'm all butterfingers on the buttons today. That was just another one. It's a lot cleaner, you know. It's like you have to use your imagination. It wasn't so vulgar, but
People are probably dying watching
I know.
this right now.
I can't believe that kept coming up. Oh my god! Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, what's a bad idea, Britt? Jay saying bad idea, Britt. I don't know what a bad idea is. Fred, you're a freak. Yeah. Europeans are so much more open and funny. You showed that. It's true. I think so.
It was a drawing. I used my imagination. That wasn't what she was doing in the actual picture.
It's hilarious that picture keeps showing up. Oh my god, that was the funniest thing ever. You're like, what? No, get off the screen. Well, I'm like, your drawing is admirable. I mean, like, I am terrible at drawing anything. Whenever I draw, like, in illustrations, I'm like, I'm sorry for the person next to me. If I have, like, time and it's not, like, a whiteboard marker that's, like, got a thick tip, nope, that's probably just, like, a terrible thing to say. But anyway, it's just terrible. It, like, makes it bad to draw. But
we always play illustrations at Christmas, and I'm always really good at it. I love it. It's so good. Everyone's like, oh my god, that's such a good one. How did you do it?
Yeah, you're like a perfect drawer. It's like one of those ones that's like not even fair. He like just draws exactly what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But I love that it can get so twisted sometimes, like from what it like actually is. Like it's just hilarious.
I love it. It's great. So for those of you that don't know, it's like Chinese whispers. It's like Pictionary mixed with Chinese whispers. So you have something that you have to draw. You draw it, and then someone guesses what you've drawn. And then the other person has to draw what they guessed, and it keeps going. So, you know, and then you end up, you start with a windmill and you end up with cock and balls. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's hysterical. It's so funny. And when I've played it like with like my like larger family, it's so funny. I like another game too for like groups at Christmas time and stuff that have lots of generations called Mind the Gap. And it's basically trivia, but you team up with like millennials, like Generation X or whatever. Like you have all the generations. So usually it's like my dad, me and my sister, one of my kids. So that there's like, we at least cover a few generations. And my dad is like so ridiculously good at this game. And I'm like, I don't even know what the question is talking about. My dad knows the answer to it. I'm like, what? I'm like, how do you even know that? It's so fun. The kids hate it though, because it gets really hard once you get into like the older generations when we're like, what? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna see if there's any more good comments.
Oh, we've got this one. This is good. It's just emojis.
I know. So funny.
Illustrations After Dark is the best board game ever.
It
from
is
Ian.
really funny.
Well, yeah. I've not played that one, but I've played regular Telestrations. Is brilliant.
You would like it if you drew that picture. You and Chris and some friends should play. It's really funny.
Yes.
You would be able to draw it so good. So like Jacob played it with his friends at his 17th birthday, and they took a picture of like one of the kids who drew I can't remember what it was. It was Spread Eagle, and he drew a guy like spreading his butt cheeks apart. And it was so accurate. Like the guy was bent over, spreading his butt cheeks apart. And it was like hilariously so funny. I'm like, oh my God, that looks exactly like a guy spreading and showing you his butthole. And like, I'm not sure that's what Spread Eagle is. Like, I think Spread Eagle is just like a woman thing, but you can do it for a guy's butthole if you want to. It was funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Right. What else are we going to talk about? Or is that it? I think we might have come to the end.
I think that was it. Yeah. I just wanted to, I love that psychologist. She's one of those people that like makes you think about everything and challenge your
What's
own
her name?
perception.
How
It's
can we
called the
find?
capacity builder or something. She's like the capacity builder. Just let me check for one sec because um, the capacity. Oh, there she is. Raquel, the capacity expert with underscores under each word.
Okay.
On Instagram. I don't know if she's on other things, but
On all
I
your
think I
vertical streaming platforms.
yeah, I found her on Facebook because I'm not usually on Instagram, but Raquel, the capacity expert. And I just think she's like amazing. And I think a lot of us could do for some, tough conversations with ourselves a lot of the time, especially when we have a disability. And yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of the time it's more helpful for us to say, like, if we have a challenge saying like, so what, then it is to be like, yeah, poor me. It's just so much better to kick yourself in the pants than it is to give yourself an out all the time. Because I think that we can get really used to giving ourselves that graceful exit that everybody else gives us.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think I just get for some reason I have like it's almost like an allergy to the vertical scrolling content, even though that's what the
Mm,
world is these days. You know what I
I
mean?
know.
I just it it comes with like this feeling of like what's next. You know, like I'm not even paying attention to it because it's already built into my brain the dopamine system of like whoosh, I'm just going to swipe away. Whereas I much prefer long form content, but I realize, I mean, I had this conversation before with you, but like so much of the world uses that vertical platform now. But for some reason it puts me off because
Yeah.
I get caught on the scroll because it's so, yeah.
There's a book that I'm reading called and it's kind of dry, to be honest. It's called Smartphone Nation, but it talks about the way that we have dealt with screen time is just avoidance, or what's the thing that, like, not abstinence, but it's like when you just don't eat junk food. I'm never going to eat junk food, instead of finding a healthy way to balance all of the fun foods out there with all the healthy foods that you need. And she said thinking that we can't or shouldn't consume social media in any form is actually negative, because it's not going away. It's a lot of the ways that people interact with each other. We have to the smartphone diet essentially is what she teaches people. What's a healthy smartphone diet? And learning ways to like manage that, just like you would a healthy food diet. You're not just going to go and
Yeah.
buy all the junk food. So she teaches you how to curate your social media for things that are positive and make you feel good. She teaches you how to protect your identity on all of those platforms, how to make sure that cookies aren't, feeding you everything that you desire, how to balance out the algorithm in your social media feed so that it's not just, feeding you all the things that you already think. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it
yeah.
takes a lot of work though. So some of the times I'm just like, I'm just not going to do it, because I'm like, it's a lot of work to go and do all those things.
The
But
thing what I
yeah,
hate about it is like I've got caught on the scroll a few
me
times
too.
where and like I say I don't have TikTok, I don't have Instagram. I hate that YouTube suggests them for me. But sometimes you're like, oh, I don't have time to watch a long video, so I'll watch a couple of these, and then I'm like
I know.
it's like I've got zero self control, and about an
Me
hour
too.
later, I don't have time to watch a 15-minute video, but an hour later I'm like, what the hell? This just sucked my time, and I just that's what the vertical videos they just remind me of, like time stolen almost, and I'm like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I just strictly stick to the long form content because I just find it more wholesome. But I do understand what you mean, like
I struggle a lot with it because I find stuff like her where I'm like, I absolutely love her so much. There's a few people that are like that do political commentary that I love. Um, and I just love listening to their intellect. So, and they're really only on short form content, but not all
Yeah.
the time. One of the things that I actually like, I got rid of too, because it was sucking a lot of my time, but I really liked Substack because it's like articles and you can curate who you're like listening to. And a lot of the people that I specifically like who were like did do political commentary or like historical, like analyzing historical events and stuff. I really was like loving their newsletters, but I also there's a lot of things that distract me. And so I'm interested in nutrition and politics and history and like all these things, and if I did all the things that I was so interested in, I would never do anything. And I feel like no matter what it is, I have to reduce my distraction so that I can create the things that I want to create, because I'm just getting so distracted all of the time and not doing the things that I want to do that would make me feel good about doing and putting out in the world. So I'm really trying. I thought maybe next time, before I forget, if anybody wants to do a year in review, I thought me and you could do that, Fred, because I did a shit job of doing any of the goals I had for 2025. So I want to talk about that.
Oh
and
yeah, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't we started together? We were like, oh, we're gonna do like meditation. We'll do all sorts of things, which just like that didn't even last a week.
I'm telling you, it was all. I'm telling you, if I look at my 2025 things, I didn't do like one thing, and I'm like a whole year went by with me being distracted, which is why I'm like really not wanting to do that. And there have been a lot of like great distractions, holidays and whatever, but it's also me. I'm reading another book called The Art of Spending Money, and he talks a lot about things that we do, things that we like and want, and making sure that they're the same thing, because in society today, we're really getting caught up in things. We're wanting things that we don't actually like, that we don't actually need, and that aren't actually making our lives better in any way. And I am so much that person that I'm like, oh my God, I should do that. I should do that. I should do that. Or somebody asked me to do something. Like I did so many volunteer things in this last like 2 months that I'm just like, I need to know. Everybody asks me because they're like, Brittany's the person with a disability and she'll do the filming thing. She'll do this. She'll do that. She'll do that. So I'm like, I'm at the hospital all the time because I'm doing a speaking thing for doctors, or I'm doing this or I'm doing that. And people just know I'm there all the time. So I'm just like, I can't, but I feel bad saying no. So I have to like do a whole year in review and make some plans for next year. And just, so I thought maybe we could do that together, like with the audience. So everybody could bring their little notebooks and we could sort of lead a year in review.
Well, we could hold each other accountable. Like like you said to me recently, I've been showing up to do the podcast every week because you're there. And I'm like, same, and also I love it. It's a really lovely way of creating and sharing without, the hassle of making a video. It's just like, oh, we'll come and think of a theme, talk about it, weave our lives into it. And it's great. And it's a good catch up. It's a weekly catch up. I love it. It fills me up. I'm so grateful that we have the podcast. But yeah, we could hold each other accountable for our New Year goals, because there's certainly things I want to let go of for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, I'm going to do this right here. I promise that by next podcast, I will have that community that I want to start. I'll probably call it the Happy, Healthy, Awesome Tribe or whatever it is that I'm going to do my live workouts in and hold myself accountable that you guys can join me in. And I will have like a paid tier that you guys can join group coaching. You'll get other things like you can get the replays of the workouts and all of that junk. Not junk. It's going to be great stuff. But I'll have that ready for next week. And I'm going to talk to you about this stuff offline, Fred, and see if we can hold each other accountable in that community too. But anyway, I promise I'll have that ready for you guys to go and have all the information where you can sign up for that next week so that I hold myself accountable to you guys.
Excellent.
Okay.
Real quick, isn't spread eagle when you stretch your arms and legs out? Oh, it could be. Like a snow angel.
Definitely not in the context of like spread eagle. I'm pretty sure is when you're like who?
Oh, like legs akimbo.
But I'm I'm pretty positive. Now I have to like Google it. So I'm like, I'm going to Google it right now.
Right. Are you going to Google it right now, or are we going to go?
Google it. I'm going to Google it before we go because you put that up here. Spread eagle.
Oh, okay, go on then. Spread eagle.
It says a posture with arms and legs stretched out, resembling a bird with spread wings.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
That is very weird. Why do I always not? Yeah, I've always thought it was like a spread eagle, like when your legs are open.
There you go. Vulcan on wheels. You are right, my friend.
You absolutely are right. Yep.
Yeah.
Google has spoken.
Stretch your arms and legs out. There you go. Right, okay.
We're gonna end on that note.
See you later, everybody. See you next
Okay.
Tuesday.
Okay, bye.
Big love to you all. Bye. Oh, I forgot to end it.